Can one humble pair of chopsticks make a difference in fighting climate change? Most likely not. But what if the number of chopsticks could cover the ground of Beijing's Tiananmen Square 360 times over? Now we have your attention. Almost 1/3 of the world uses chopsticks every day. These unique eating tools were developed around 3,000 to 5,000 years ago in China. So it's no surprise the country produces up to 80 billion pairs of disposable chopsticks annually. Some 20 million trees are chopped down every year to feed this unsustainable habit. We can get 4,000 of these single-use utensils from one tree. And the need to consume is fueling deforestation, which in turn exacerbates climate change. While forests cover nearly 1/3 of the world's land area, they're disappearing at an alarming rate. According to the UN, we have lost 420 million hectares of forest since 1990. That's about the size of the European Union. Every minute, an area the size of 50 football fields is lost. Deforestation accounts for nearly 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Chopping down trees contributes to a warming planet because it depletes forests that absorb vast amounts of carbon dioxide. But all hope is not lost. More than 100 world leaders pledged to end deforestation by 2030 at the recent COP26 climate summit.
We have to stop the devastating loss of our forests, these great teeming ecosystems, trillion-pillared cathedrals of nature, 3 trillion-pillared cathedrals of nature that are the lungs of our planet.
On our part, we can try to save the trees one chopstick at a time by changing our consumption habits and using reusable cutlery to cut down wood waste. The one Canadian startup is giving used chopsticks a new lease of life by transforming them into everything from bookshelves to dining tables. I had a chat with Chop Value's founder, Felix Bach. I started by asking him how many chopsticks his company collects in a week.
In Vancouver alone, we estimate that we throw out around 100,000 chopsticks per day. In Singapore, I learned from our team in Singapore, we are throwing out around 250,000 chopsticks per day. So just imagine that amount of mountains of raw material that otherwise would just end up on the landfill and no one would care about. So to date, we are at around 50 million chopsticks that we transformed in a very, very lean and efficient process in our microfactories all around the world into new products.
Let's tell us about some of the products then. How many chopsticks are used for them, and how is it different from other wooden decorations or furniture?
So we have more than 50 products at the current product portfolio. If you're getting one of our height adjustable desks, that top is made out of more than 9,000 chopsticks. And you have to imagine, it's like 9,000 chopsticks is equal to 4,500 meals or 2,250 dates. We can tell that, these recycled chopsticks are now getting a second life, capturing that carbon footprint that otherwise would be released to the atmosphere into these new beautiful products.
Could you walk us through the process from collection to the way it's made and to the final production, Once
a week, we pick up, a box of chopsticks. These chopsticks, they're getting transferred back to our microfactories. They're going through a process of washing and drying, and then with a lot of heat, steam, and pressure, we're turning them into this highly densified engineered material that is stronger than oak, harder than maple, and more durable than teak. And that's the basic building material that we use for all our product designs.
There are obviously those who worry about hygiene and sanitation. How do you address these concerns that may arise among consumers?
Luckily, we're dealing with a very clean resource. So, any residuals that are maybe part of that new resource stream, we're dealing with a lot of heat, steam, and pressure throughout the production process itself. We're not using any chemicals that will be against our own carbon footprint. We don't want to create any more wastewater in the process itself.
You said in one of your interviews that you've made money since day one. Now, the truth is, not many upcycling companies manage to make profits. So how are you able to create a sustainable business right from the start?
Yeah, maybe you see, I have to take a deep breath because it is, a lot of responsibility from day one to make something that you fully understand will work actually work. And I think what we do so well is we're fully closing the loop. We want to go from the initial resource, that small, humble chopstick, all the way to the end product in one single process, in one single microfactory. And I think that enabled us from day one that every single product that left our production line, we sold to the end consumer, and every dollar we made, we reinvested to scale and expand responsibly.
Speaking of scaling up, how are you planning to expand your operations to ensure a broader impact, perhaps globally?
You know, we had one location and we knew we were onto something. We knew we can be part of a better, more progressive, positive manufacturing future. And out of that one location, a year later, we have now 38 microfactories around the world in development or open already. My humble goal with the chopstick is every city in the world deserves a Chop Value microfactory to really make sure we are redefining the term waste into resource for new end products without touching our valuable natural resources.
And one of the countries that use a lot of disposable wooden chopsticks is China, where reports say that throw around nearly 130 million pairs daily. That seems like a natural market for your products. I mean, do you have any plans to expand there?
We are definitely already in talks with some of the groups and bigger provinces in China that would like to test and pilot the program. My biggest vision for Chop Value is to make sure that we expand responsibly and with that local philosophy in mind, because one thing I want to avoid is that someone is maybe opening up a big mega or mass factory and kind of defeats the purpose of the local community manufacturing that can be truly carbon neutral. So, of course, the plans are there. We will just take it one step at a time.